The villagers laughed, pointed, and called her names. "Giraffe girl," they sneered, never knowing the very neck they mocked would one day become a symbol of power, beauty, and revenge. But by the time they realized her worth, it was too late. In the heart of a lush, green valley in West Africa lay the village of Ndimu. Surrounded by hills that whispered ancient secrets and rivers that shimmered like snakes of silver, Ndimu was a place of tradition, of rhythm, and of silence when it came to shame. Among the villagers lived a girl named Nayla, a child unlike any other. From birth, Nayla had a slender, graceful body, but what caught everyone's attention was her unusually long neck. Even as a baby wrapped in colorful Kent cloth, her neck appeared elongated. Elders whispered. Midwives exchanged uneasy glances. Her mother, Maudalia, a soft-spoken widow, held her child tightly and declared, "This is not a curse. This is my miracle." But miracles are often misunderstood. When Nayla turned 5, she began attending the village school, a one-room hut filled with wooden benches and sun-baked chalkboards. That's where the laughter began. At first, it was subtle. Giggles behind her back when she bent over her books. Then came the nicknames. Tree Neck, Snake Spine, Giraffe Girl. Her classmates would stretch their necks in mockery or place pots on their heads and wobble around, pretending to be her. Some would even moo like cows when she walked by. But what hurt most wasn't the teasing. It was the silence of the adults. No teacher scolded. No elder corrected. Even the healer, who often visited the school, once chuckled and said, "Maybe she's meant to reach the sky, eh?" At home, Maudalia tried her best to shield Nayla. "Child, your neck is royal. The gods do not make mistakes. They only sculpt what others are too blind to understand." She would oil Nayla's skin with shea butter, tie beads around her neck, and sing lullabies that spoke of tall trees and proud eagles. But no matter how much love she poured into Nayla, it couldn't erase the cruel laughter that echoed in her daughter's mind every day. Nayla would often sit by the river alone, gazing into her reflection, wondering, why me? Why not someone else? Each year, Ndimu held a grand celebration called the Festival of Flowers, a vibrant event where every girl over 12 would dance before the entire village. The most graceful dancer would be chosen as Flower Maiden, earning respect, gifts, and even the eye of young suitors. By the time Nayla was 12, she had become a quiet, graceful girl with eyes like rich soil and a presence that felt ancient. Despite the mockery, she still longed for acceptance. "I'll dance," she whispered to her mother. "Let them see who I am." Maudalia smiled with tears in her eyes, knowing the courage it took. The day of the festival arrived. Drums echoed. Women adorned in gold-threaded fabrics swirled like fire. One by one, the girls danced under the baobab tree as villagers cheered. When Nayla stepped forward, silence fell. Her long neck gleamed in the sun, adorned with golden rings and beads. Her slender form moved like water, elegant, controlled, ethereal. It wasn't a dance. It was poetry. But before the elder could speak, a boy in the crowd shouted, "Watch out! She might fly away with that neck." The crowd erupted in laughter. Not the warm, festive kind, but sharp, cruel, echoing mockery. Nayla froze mid-dance. Her heart pounded. Her cheeks burned. Ran past the drums, past the dancers, past the baobab tree, all the way to the riverbank where she collapsed in sobs. As Nayla wept, the river flowed beside her quietly. Then she heard it. A soft voice, feminine, melodic, older than time. "Why do you weep, child of elegance?" Nayla gasped. Standing just above the water, shimmering like light itself, was a woman. Not quite human. Not quite spirit. Her hair was made of vines. Her eyes glowed like the moon. Who are you?" The woman smiled. "I am Nusa, guardian of the rivers. And I've watched you. You dance like rain. You move like the wind. Yet you let the wind break you." Nayla said nothing. Nusa walked closer, never touching the ground. "They laugh because they do not understand what you are. But in time they will see." "See what?" "That your neck, your grace, your silence, These are not burdens. They are keys. But only if you are brave enough to use them. Before Nayla could reply, Nusa placed a glowing pebble in her hand and whispered, "Return here when the moon is swallowed by shadow. Then your path will change." And just like that she vanished into mist. Years passed. Nayla grew into a young woman. She stopped going to the festival, stopped dancing, stopped hoping. The village still mocked her, but less openly now. Some villagers noticed her quiet dignity, her growing beauty, the way traders from other villages stared in awe. But the stigma of her past remained. She spent her time at the riverbank, weaving baskets, collecting herbs and speaking to no one. She kept the pebble hidden, wondering if the encounter had been a dream. Then one night the moon turned red. Blood eclipse. The moon slowly disappeared, swallowed by darkness, just as Nusa had foretold. Nayla stood by the river holding the pebble. Glowed once more. The water rippled. Nusa returned. This time, Nusa did not speak in riddles. "You are ready," she said. "Your pain has ripened. Now comes transformation." She reached into the water and pulled out an object wrapped in woven leaves. Inside was a necklace, crafted of shimmering blue stones and bone-carved runes. "Wear this on the day the drums return to your village. It will reveal what lies beneath the surface, not just in you but in others." Nayla frowned. "Reveal what?" Nusa smiled, mysterious as always. "Truth, power, and the price of shame." She vanished again. Nayla clutched the necklace, confused but curious. A month later, Ndemu was alive with noise. A royal messenger arrived, announcing that the Prince of the Southern Rivers would visit the village in search of a bride. A celebration would be held, a reawakening of the Festival of Flowers. This time with a prize greater than ever: marriage to royalty. Women prepared feverishly. Tailors worked day and night. Families polished their daughters like gemstones. Nayla, she said nothing. But that night, under the moonlight, she pulled out the shimmering necklace and placed it around her long neck. It pulsed against her skin like a heartbeat. She didn't know what would happen, but she knew this time she wouldn't run. The sun rose golden over Ndemu as the entire village gathered in excitement. Dust danced in the air, the drums returned louder than ever, and every young woman stood like a jewel waiting to be chosen. From the horizon came the caravan of the Prince of the Southern Rivers, Prince Jiramu, a tall, elegant man with skin the color of roasted earth and eyes that glimmered like obsidian. Known across the land for his wisdom and fairness, Jiramu sought not just beauty in his bride, but depth, grace, and something no one could fake. He would choose his queen not just by her dance, but by her spirit. In the background, standing alone by the tall baobab tree, was Nayla. Draped in a simple indigo cloth and wearing Nusa's glowing necklace, she didn't speak to anyone. She didn't smile. But her presence was undeniable. People whispered, "Is she really going to dance again? After what happened last time? Has she no shame?" The same girls who once mocked her now watched her from the corners of their eyes. Nervous. 'Cause somehow, she looked different. Not just taller. Majestic. Drums pounded like thunder. One by one, the girls danced before the prince. Twirling, swaying, showing off their beauty and charm. Some smiled. Some flirted. Some tried to impress him with tricks and extravagant steps. But the prince's face remained unreadable. Then came Nayla's turn. She stepped forward. Silence fell. Even the birds stopped singing. She raised her arms and danced. But it wasn't just movement. It was magic. Her body flowed like water from sacred springs. Her feet barely touched the ground. Her long neck curved and arched like a serpent in rhythm with the heartbeat of the land. And as she danced, something happened. The necklace began to glow brighter and brighter, until it burst into a soft light that covered the entire gathering. Gasps erupted. Suddenly, the villagers began to see things they never had before. As Nayla danced under the necklace's glow, the truth behind every person's heart began to reveal itself in shimmering auras. One girl who mocked Nayla for years, now stood trembling, her envy shining green and ugly across her skin. A boy who once threw stones at her glowed with dull red, guilt and shame bleeding from his aura. Even some elders, once silent in their cowardice, bowed their heads as fearful yellow light leaked from them. But Nayla, she glowed gold, pure, steady, radiant. Her grace, her pain, her silence, all of it transformed into power. Prince Jiramu watched in awe. When she stopped dancing, the glow faded. But the silence remained. Jiramu rose from his throne and walked slowly toward Nayla. He didn't smile. He simply looked into her eyes and spoke loud enough for all to hear. I have traveled across kingdoms, have seen beauty, have seen charm, but never have I seen such depth, born from pain, held with dignity. They mocked what made you different, he continued, turning to the crowd. But they were blind. For that which they shamed is what makes you divine. Then he knelt before Nayla. Will you be my queen? Not just to sit beside me, but to guide with me. The crowd was stunned. The same people who had ridiculed her now dropped their eyes in shame. Even her old classmates, some of whom were hoping to be chosen, stood frozen. Nayla looked at them all. And then she looked at Jiramu. I am not here to seek revenge, she said softly. But I will no longer carry their shame. If I am to be queen, it will be on my terms. Jiramu smiled. Then it shall be so. Nayla left the village with the prince days later, not as a runaway, but as a queen. But before she left, she returned once more to the riverbank, where Nusa emerged again. You have done well, child, said the river spirit. But your journey is only beginning. The world needs eyes like yours, eyes that see beyond the skin. Nayla bowed. I understand now. My neck isn't just long. It's strong enough to carry what others could not. Nusa laughed gently. And that is why you will never be forgotten. She vanished for the final time, leaving Nayla alone, no longer as the girl with the long neck, but as the queen who rose from mockery to majesty. Word of Queen Nayla spread far and wide. A queen who danced like a goddess. A woman who healed villages not with swords, but with truth and grace. A symbol for those who had ever been laughed at for being different. In the village of Ndimu, young girls now wore beads around their necks, not to hide shame, but to honor the queen they once mocked. And once a year, during the new moon, people gathered by the river to tell her story. The girl with the long neck, who reached the sky.